Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of David and Robby's Watch Party. I am your host, David Loveday. With me, as always, is my co-host, Robby Tressler. Robby, how you doing today?
Oh, today is a good day. It's a really good day. We'll get into why later, but it's
All
a good
right.
day.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So we can review. We talked about this before. We are not doing the whole week. We are only talking about one specific show this episode.
Yeah.
We are talking about Survivor Series 2023. Which I mean,
Sir.
we probably should also talk about Full Gear, but we're not gonna. No,
We're not going to because we didn't watch like half of it. So
yeah, Full Gear was good. The half that we watched, it was really good. Um,
yeah,
really good death match between Swerve and Adam Page.
that was something else, man. Oh yeah, yeah.
It got 5 stars. So,
It did.
but no, we're gonna talk about Survivor Series, and I think the way that we do this is we just go match by match. I'll introduce matches, and we can talk about our feelings about them. We're also gonna give star ratings. I wanted to introduce that. Just give a star rating on each match, what we thought. It's out of 5. So, and no, we are
Uh,
not pulling a Meltzer and going above. That
that's
doesn't
fine.
equate to this show, but
Gonna rate a match 4.73
we
stars.
are not doing points unless it's a point 5. We are not pulling a Meltzer.
Nah.
So let's hop right into it. First match of the night, because we're also going to talk about a couple of segments. But first match of the night is the women's War Games match, which is
Hmm.
Team Bianca, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch. Why am I blanking?
Charlotte and Shotzi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Versus Damage Control, Asuka, Kyrie, Io, and Bailey. Um, Rob, give me your thoughts first. What do you think about this first matchup?
It was it was a good match.
Mhm.
It was a good match. I will say, and I mentioned this last night, Kyrie looked a bit lost in there, like she didn't really know
Yeah,
what she was doing. And then her whole like when she went into the match, she like slowly she stomped down to the ring while her teammates were getting beaten up. She like she just didn't care. And
yeah.
I did find kind of funny when like whenever they went into the ring, when they went under
Mhm.
the ring to grab weapons, the crowd would boo very loudly if they didn't grab a table. I thought that was kind of funny.
No, I agree with that. I think Kyrie was a little lost, but I don't think she's ever even like she was in the company during the NXT War Games matches, but she wasn't really there throughout the main roster ones in the past couple of years. So she's not
Yeah,
used to that. That's the thing.
right.
Her return match to the company was a War Games match, and this isn't like Randy's return match. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Mm.
But this is like returning to the company after being in like Japan and stuff where
Yeah,
they don't have those.
it's definitely
So
a different style to have to
yeah,
adapt to.
it's definitely a different style. But overall I agree with you. The match was good. I feel like the best part of that match was Io recreating the trash can spot.
You wish trash can over the head and wee off the top of the cage. Yes,
As Wrestling with Regret calls it, the Oscar the Grouch spot. And I said I'm gonna start using that.
that's perfect. That's perfect.
um but no, Team Flair won, which actually surprised both of us because we both picked Damage Control to win that.
Now, it did surprise me at first, but looking back, because Bailey was the one that took the pin. I think
Yeah,
she got hit with finishers from
mm,
everybody on the face side, and then a manhandle slam off the rope through a
into
table.
a table.
I I think that's to set up Bailey being outed from Damage Control. They're
You
gonna
know
get upset that
that
she
makes
took the
sense.
pin
That
and
makes
lost the
total sense.
match. They're gonna out her from the group.
No, that makes total sense. Bleacher Report gave this match an A. Yeah, sure, I agree with that.
Yeah. What, how
I
many
feel like
stars would you give it?
I feel like stars I'd say around 4. 4 out of 5
That's what I was thinking too. Four. I
is
think
my
that's
star
fair.
rating for that one. I feel like I won't call it better than the men's match. We'll get to the men's match in a little bit, but I feel like for the first time in years it was on par with the men's match.
It was definitely on par.
Now we get to the boring part of War Game, the singles matches. To be fair, this match wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
It was,
Gunther versus The Miz for the IC title.
yeah.
Not as
I
bad
think
as I thought it would be.
I think you said it would be a sleeper.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of another match. No, I thought this match would have been a sleeper. And honestly, looking at the singles matches, if we don't count the War Games matches, because I like to section those off,
Mhm.
we're just looking at the singles matches. I will say this was the sleeper of the show.
I'd have to agree.
The only reason I think it wouldn't have been, and this is me backtracking a little bit, but not really.
Yeah.
Babyface Miz has always not been particularly good.
It you just with the kind of character he has, like a snobby A-lister, that doesn't really scream babyface.
Although to be fair, he wasn't a full babyface in this match.
He wasn't.
he hit a low blow.
He did. That's not very babyface of you, sir. Fraud.
But no, the match was okay. It got a B plus from Beach Report. I'd say like 3.5 stars for me is what I'd say for that. Three to
Yeah,
three
I
and a half.
feel three and a half. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's fair.
Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar. This match was a little lackluster for me. But this also is due to the fact that when this match was on, I had to leave to chase my dog. So I didn't see most of it.
Yeah, so from what I saw, it was a little bit underwhelming.
Mhm.
Given the caliber of talent in this match, you would think they would have put on an absolute banger, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
So I'm not going to give a star rating because I didn't see the whole thing. But Robbie, what would you rate this match?
3 stars.
Okay.
At least 3 stars.
Almost three. All right. I got a B from Bleacher Report. I love
Yeah.
how it's going A, B plus, B.
Is this next match C plus? Wait a minute, let's see.
Let's quickly just talk about this. Um, we passed this in our review already, but I want to go back to it. The Ruffles ad with R-Truth coming back
And the Ruffle Shuffle.
and the Ruffle show. That was funny, even
Uh,
though I was yelling at Pretty Deadly the whole time.
yes. The WWE was sponsored by Ruffles last night, and they had a whole segment with with the Alpha Academy and then Pretty Deadly. They were eating some Ruffles, and then they fought over some Ruffles, and then
they,
uh Kit Wilson, I guess, threw the bowl of Ruffles against the wall, and then when he went to pick him up, R-Truth came into the fold, and he's like, "I was here the whole time. What you mean?"
they left him in Chicago.
They left him in Chicago.
But no, they were arguing on if it was called chips or crisps, and R-Truth just came in and said, "They're Ruffles. What do you mean?"
He's not wrong. They're Ruffles.
Next match, not as bad as I thought it would be. I feel like this also could have been a sleeper. I don't think it was. It's Rhea versus Zoe for the women's world title. It's okay.
It was all right.
This also got a B, from Bleacher Report, breaking the pattern.
Right.
And apparently, this match was not at Survivor Series. It was at Slim Jim, looking at the barricade.
Man, they go all out with those sponsors.
It's just like how the first War Games match was at Ruffles.
Rough Rouflays.
I mean, even the press conference was sponsored by Slim Jim.
Yes. And freaking the only person that actually had a Slim Jim was Cody. They hyped this man up to eat a long boy. A long
They
boy.
called
They
it
hyped this
Long
man up
Boys.
long boys.
Um, but no, it was an okay match. It was good. I'd say three stars.
3 stars, I'd have to say. I don't know. At this point, I don't know who's going to take the title off Araya. She's kind of beaten
Yeah,
pretty much everybody.
unless someone like comes back, or it could be like a Kyrie who hasn't fought her yet. Um, but unless someone comes back, there's really it's a Roman situation all over again. There's really no competition now.
Right.
the
And
same Roman
before,
situation that we've had. It's the Jade Cargill situation that we had.
yeah,
Kind of common in today's wrestling.
yeah, just a bit. But I mean, that's not always a bad thing because I guess it's better than swapping the titles back and forth every month.
That's true.
It
And
builds
then the
up
main
credibility.
event, and this I brought up last night. I still find it weird, and there was no explanation for this, that the women's War Games match was 4-on-4, but the men's War Games match is 5-on-5.
This man got heated about it,
I
like
don't I don't
it,
get it. I
and he's
don't
not wrong. It
understand.
doesn't make sense.
I don't understand.
But like I was saying, if Dakota Kai wasn't injured, it would have been a 5-on-5 women's
True.
match.
But the men's War Games match, in my opinion, just barely match of the night.
Barely,
Just
just
there with the war
barely.
game with the women's War Games. Um, so let's talk about the main part of the match first, and then we'll get to what happened after. So the overarching story of this match was: is Randy Orton going to show up?
Hmm.
So the face team doesn't have Orton in their cage. He's basically, at this point, even Robby said he's going to pull a Kevin Owens in 2019. um,
Yeah,
Everyone's in the War Games cage. Fights ensue. The timer comes up. The timer goes off. Nothing happens. All of a sudden, here comes Rhea Ripley with the briefcase. Oh my God, Damian Priest is going to cash in and have like this weird match within a match.
in a War Games match. Imagine that.
In a War Games match. And then, as Rhea's handing the briefcase to the referee, voices hits. Here
Yeah.
comes Randy Orton. First time in 18 months that we have seen this man in a wrestling ring. He runs to the ring. And Robby, you make a good point. You said this last night. It's kind of funny that this man had double fusion back surgery and his
Yeah.
first match back is a War Games match.
His very first match back, a War Games match. Imagine.
But no, he um power slams Dom, power slams JD, more uh quintuple draping DDT, which was
Yeah,
cool.
that was cool, and
That filled me with happiness.
and especially the way I don't think this was during the 5-person DDT, but I think a DDT shortly after
Yeah.
when Randy hit a DDT on Randy, he like kind
Mhm.
of like spazzed out and like
When
yeah
Randy hit
yeah
a
yeah.
DDT
And
on
then,
Randy,
uh Finn Finn. I
he
mean,
said
he might have hit a
when
DDT
Randy
on
hit a
himself.
DDT on Randy. How the heck?
Yeah, Randy Savage. No, but no, it's been mean to death the way that Randy kind of like spazzed out when he hit the DDT. That was kind of
Randy?
fun. When he hit the DDT, I didn't
Okay,
say
yeah.
anything after that.
No, I get you. I get you. Um,
Melon, no,
but no, probably the biggest spot of this match is when JD McDonough tries to escape, which would forfeit his team, honestly, which is a stupid move. But he tries to escape from the faces, and Sammy and I think Jay climb up
yeah,
with him, and they toss him off to an RKO, which was
that
beautiful.
it was clean.
um, but no, overall, and then Cody hits the crossroads, which I hated
Free.
because we did the predictions championship. Robby was defending, and I
Mm-hmm.
introduced Big Four bonus points. And the bonus points for this Big Four was can we guess who is gonna make the pin? Who's gonna win
Yeah,
it for their team? I said Randy, he said Cody, and that is the only thing that gave him the win.
Cody got the dub. He got the
we
dub.
we were tied. Come
Cody
on,
won it
man.
for that. That was good. I like that.
But no, I wasn't even mad.
Yeah,
That match was awesome. This got an A from from Bleacher Report. The show got an A from Bleacher Report. I agree. Now let's talk about what happens after the match. So, so the faces are celebrating in the ring, and the copyright logo appears, which usually means the show is over. They show the copyright logo. They show what's happening next. They start to pull away, and they pull a DIY on us because CM Punk's music hits. And the funniest thing about this is I tried to mess with him the first time because I said, "Oh my god," during the replays. He's like, "No, it's still the replays." So the second when I actually reacted, he did not believe me.
When he shouted an expletive into the Discord, I'm like, nah, he's faking me out.
Because
And then
I
his
was ahead
music
of
hit.
him
I'm
by
like,
like 7 seconds.
he was ahead of me by a few seconds. So when he yelled out, I'm like, nah, this man tripping. He's fooling. He's tricking me. And then I saw it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
CM Punk has returned to WWE for the first time in almost 10 years.
Nearly 10 years.
In nearly 10 years, CM Punk is back. And I have never, like, I did not like CM Punk in AEW. That is my standing. I hated him in AEW, at least towards the end of it,
Yeah.
because of all the backstage stuff that was happening and everything about him going off script. I hated that, but I could not deny I was excited.
We were marking out, even though we were talking so much trash about this man months ago when he was in AEW. When he came back to WWE, man, that hit us in the field.
I mean, the pop that he got.
I think I'm pretty certain that man that pop registered on the Richter scale.
That's a
He
Taylor
he may
Swift
have
pop right
potentially
there.
caused an earthquake.
No, they like the roof blew off the place when his music hit, and they faked us out perfectly. They said, "Here's the
I
copyright logo. Here's the press conference ad."
I'm not gonna lie, I fell for it. They got me. I
Right?
fell for it.
I did
I
too.
can't lie. I fell for it.
I don't know if you saw this though. About an hour after it came out, some videos started to come out about Seth Rollins.
This man was
He was
angry.
heated.
Oh my
I don't know if
lord.
that's a work or not. I'm kind of hoping it is because I want to see a feud.
I hope it's a work simply because I don't want Punk to get into a fight with him and get fired.
Yeah,
I don't want the backstage situation to fall into disarray. So I hope it's a work.
but no, he was heated. And then reportedly, Drew McIntyre also stormed out of the building.
Yeah.
So, and apparently no one knew he was returning. Not a
Yeah.
lot of people actually knew he was returning.
I think it was said like right before everyone in the War Games match went out. That's when they were told that Punk was coming back, right before they went out, but nobody else knew.
Yeah. I mean, it was it was a surreal moment, especially as someone who got into wrestling like as soon as Punk was starting to leave.
Yeah.
And I went back and I watched his stuff and I played the 2K15 showcase of him and John Cena and I loved like everything that I saw. I've I've said this one of my favorite wrestling segments is his fake sobriety test when he faked being drunk.
Yes. That was fun.
That and him on commentary during the strike episode. That was the funniest stuff. To see that, I felt like I was 10 again.
Hmm. Right. Like even now, like 21 hours later, I still can't believe he's back.
Right? It doesn't
Like
feel real.
it's like we're living in an alternate universe. It's wild.
It does not
But
feel real.
I'm here for every minute of it. And good news too. Tomorrow night on Raw, he and Randy are gonna be there. So basically, we need to watch Raw tomorrow.
Exactly. Basically, we need to watch Raw.
We gotta watch Raw tomorrow.
But no, that was just a surreal experience. Just probably one of the best returns in wrestling. And if not the best, it's up there. That's
It's definitely up
definitely up
there.
there.
Probably the best. This literally the best kept secret in wrestling because like literally
No one
nobody knew apart from like five people that he was returning.
like you could claim that you knew, but every like literally every show for like the past few months since Punk was taken out of AEW was like, oh, is he returning today? Is he returning today? Is he returning? You didn't know, you were guessing.
Exactly.
But no, it was like, and the reason I say they pulled a DIY is because that's exactly what happened when DIY broke up.
Hmm.
They showed DIY on the stage, they showed the copyright in the corner. They showed what was happening next, and then Champa threw Gargano into the lights.
Yep.
Like they said, okay, show's over. Sight, boom.
Lol, JK, yeet.
All right. Before we hop into our games, because our games are gonna be on a separate part because we have a guest for our games, or for at least our first game. We're gonna do some personal wrestling questions, which the guest will also be answering the wrestling questions, but I want to get your answer first. I have two, and these are gonna seem like I wrote them yesterday, but I actually wrote them a few days ago
Okay.
because they're about wrestling swerves and secrets.
Bet.
So, two questions. The first one, what is, in your opinion, the best swerve in wrestling history?
Ooh. Maybe when Rollins broke up the Shield.
Okay.
I feel like not many people were expecting that to happen.
Hmm. So I'm a throw one in there because this was actually not only my favorite swerve, but the first wrestling segment I ever watched live. And this was before 2013. This is before Rumble. This was when I was just like tuning in. Like I would watch like a segment here, a segment there. I remember I was in the doctor's office. I was in the hospital waiting room, and they
Hmm.
were playing WWE, and I saw this Mark Henry salmon jacket.
Yes. Yes.
Mark Henry's fake retirement. That was the first ever wrestling segment I watched.
I forgot about that. That something else.
Now, the other one is what was the worst kept secret in wrestling history?
Ooh.
I have two and they happened recently. And by recently I mean last year and 2 years ago respectively.
Okay, then you can go first.
Cody's WWE return. Punk's AEW debut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially Punk's AEW debut.
I mean, the show was in Chicago. It was
They were talking about fighting the best in the world.
exactly so many teases.
And with Cody, they kept it a little bit, but they kind of accidentally spoiled it because in the there was an Instagram post. It was like, oh, here are the matchups, and it was Seth Rollins versus a blank, like a shadowed in person, and it was an exact silhouette
Of Cody.
of Cody.
Oh, come on, y'all. You couldn't just use like a picture of vacant or something?
Right?
Like,
It was an exact silhouette of Cody. It
that's
was
funny.
just his head, but still. But no, his AEW debut was just Punk's AEW debut was just spoiled nonstop.
It was.
But overall, Survivor Series, like I said, not a bad show. Full Gear, we can just quickly just talk about that really quickly since we do have time in this part. Um, Full Gear was actually pretty good from what I saw. And the reason
Good.
I only saw half the show is because he's my ticket to the show.
Yeah, I was
He was
your
late.
way of watching and I was late. My bad.
He was an hour and a half late.
My bad. So what happened was,
No, I will say I also watched 0 Hour, and 0 Hour was really good. Um, was really good too.
yeah,
But
I did not watch 0 Hour.
pretty good week for pay-per-views. I believe that's all the WWE pay-per-views of this year. Um,
If you don't count NXT, then yeah.
yeah. Well, I don't.
Yeah.
I count NXT as a separate entity because it's different people.
Everyone seems to for some reason.
Um, so I'm pleased to announce that after our first game, Wrestling Jeopardy, our second game, and I'm feel comfortable announcing this, in part 3 or 4, depending on how long Jeopardy takes, we will be doing our end of year awards, our end of year wrestling awards.
Okay,
We're gonna go by Wrestling Observer newsletter because that should take up a whole part rather than PWI who only has like 10.
right.
So we'll be doing Wrestling Observer newsletter. That should take up a whole part, and we're just gonna talk about who win. We're gonna say an award. We're gonna give our personal opinion on who wins an award. Now that we got through all the WWE pay-per-views, we haven't gotten through all the AEW ones, but it's fine.
Still got
If
another month.
if something happens at World's End, then we'll just say, "Hey, update to the awards bank."
Yeah.
um, but no, I think that's going to do it for part 1. Honestly, we are going to start up part 2, and you are going to see we have a guest for Wrestling Jeopardy, our first game. Robbie's going to take on a guest, and the winner, and the guest has already agreed to this, Robbie. The winner is going to choose a show for the loser to watch. If our guest loses, he's going to come on and review the show.
Okay.
He's already agreed to it.
Alrighty. I mean, I guess I don't got a choice, so let's do it. That's fine.
All right, so we will see y'all in part dos. Peace out.